Hi, everyone, and welcome to Heal Endometriosis Naturally with Wendy K Laidlaw. Wendy has spent the last 2 years helping women with various stages of endometriosis to heal naturally after putting her condition into remission. After her own healing success from stage 4 endometriosis and adenomyosis, she's inspired to heal others, and her goal is to help some of the 175 million women know that there is another way other than painkillers, drugs, or surgery. This is the place to be for real talk with real people for real results, so you can learn how to heal your endometriosis naturally. Please note that the opinions expressed in this program may represent options, but are not a substitute for proper medical care. Before starting any new healthcare program, we recommend you consult with a health professional.
Hey everyone, it's Wendy K Laidlaw here, and as always, I do hope that this podcast finds you well. I haven't been on for a wee while because there's been lots of things happening in the background, in addition to our Endoboss coach training, or certified coach training academy has got started as well. So it's all this work that goes on in the background, and the excitement that tends to happen with me and my team when we're looking to train other coaches in all the elements and the essences of what it takes to help women with endometriosis, adenomyosis, cysts and fibroids to put the condition into remission. Now, the reason I'm jumping on here today, in addition to sharing all of that, is I've had a couple of ladies come up to me of late. I met them in person at various events. And one lady in particular asked if she could speak to me about my book. She'd picked it up at a bookstore, and she was just curious about, how it may or may not help her daughter. She hadn't read it, but she'd kind of reached an absolute kind of brick wall with the medical field. And although she worked in the medical field herself, she said that she felt really overwhelmed by the fact that her and her daughter had gone to see a gynecologist together. And the female gynecologist, unfortunately, didn't treat her daughter very well and made her daughter feel as if it was all in her head. Now, her daughter is in her teens, and her daughter should be going out with friends and having fun and planning her future. Yet since the age of about 12 or 13 has been in debilitating pain, has been passing out at school, blacking out because of the high levels of pain. And the reason I'm sharing this story with you is, again, it staggers me in this day and age, the treatment that so many women get. And the fact that this female gynecologist is treating this young girl in such an atrocious way. So the mother was asking me, what do I do? How do I help her? I've tried everything. She's had a laparoscopy. They say they can't find anything. She's had an MRI scan. They can't find anything. And it just really kind of struck me that, the horrid insinuation by a professional who's supposed to be at their core to be supportive of their patients or their clients, was insinuating to this young girl it was in her head because they couldn't find anything. Now, I think it's a really important point to mention. If you've had this experience where you feel like you're going crazy and actually doubting your own sanity and questioning, is this pain real? Then please do not allow an external person to recreate your reality. There is nobody on this planet that seeks to be writhing around in pain on purpose. That is just not an aspiration. I've mentioned this before many, many moons ago, how I used to joke with the doctors and say, this is obviously almost a decade now ago, do you genuinely think when I was a little girl that my aspiration was to grow up and to be writhing around in pain every month and end up bedridden? So I kind of want to be an advocate for those who are maybe feeling frustrated, and kind of want to send the message again that at the end of the day, if there's pain showing up in your body and you're going to professionals and they're not supportive of you, either find ones that are, because there are some really great people out there, but there's also a lot of not so great people out there. It's just the fact of life. So it's perfectly within your right and your remit to keep searching until you find somebody, if that's the route that you want to go around. And I do get that some people naturally want a diagnosis, in inverted commas, because then there's a name and a label for what is showing up in your body. But I also want to say that at the end of the day, there is nobody that knows your body better than you. And sometimes we need reminding of that. The person can have multiple letters after their name or before their name and be some noble person. But at the end of the day, only you know your body. And this is what I'm a great advocate of, is you learning how to feel comfortable in tuning in and knowing your body. And of course, at the same time, that can be really hard when you're writhing in pain. It feels like the last place you want to tune into when it's causing you pain. But the irony is, the more that you can tune into your body and take a note of what's happening, the signs and the symptoms, ironically, what happens is you end up understanding your body, developing a relationship with it, understanding what's coming in, on and around it. Because if you haven't already gathered, we're a unique breed of women. A lot of the general training in gynecology and the medical field is designed for assuming or making an assumption that we're all the same robots that have just come off this conveyor belt. Well, we're not. And women who have either suffered from endometriosis in the past, like myself, and as I just want to remind you, everything, all my signs and symptoms are in remission, all my diseases, conditions, everything's in remission. And if I can come back from where I was, I know that you can too. This is why I'm on here today. This is why I do what I do. So wherever you are on your journey, if you're hitting brick walls or you're getting made to feel like you're going insane, and this lovely girl that we're talking about, she was made, so she was so depressed by what's going on, she was put on antidepressants. And I said to the mother, well, is it any surprise that she's depressed? You know, she's trying to fight to be believed. That's pretty depressing, isn't it? But why would someone put her on antidepressants when she's having a perfectly healthy response to an insane situation that no one's believing her? And then again, because of the intestinal issues that she was experiencing, she obviously became avoidant of food, what I call food avoidant, which again is a very healthy response to an unhealthy digestive system that's unable to break down and digest food. But again, she was classed as, I think it was along the lines of having a food disorder. No, she's having a perfectly healthy response to the fact that she's unable to break down and digest the food. Chances are, if she did a baking soda test, the details are in my book, you can, if you burp straight away, then you've got plenty stomach acid. But in my experience, there are many, many women that don't have any stomach acid, and that can be very easily corrected with either digestive enzymes or betaine hydrochloric. As I say, you do the baking soda test and you can check. The reason the body is avoiding food in that capacity is because the intestines are all inflamed and she can't break down the food. So food avoidance is a perfectly healthy response to that situation. So again, I just want you to kind of, I'm all about empowering women to learn how to have confidence in reading their own body above and beyond anything or anyone else. You know your body better than anyone. And it really is quite distressing to hear the number of women that are going through endless searching to get a diagnosis for a condition the irony is they're offered a highly invasive medical procedure to diagnose an inflammatory disease that's already causing them excruciating amounts of pain. And in my experience, the number of women that have repeated laparoscopies and repeated surgeries, there is no other industry in the world that would keep failing and then keep trying to deliver the same failed method. It's also ironic to me that we can send rockets and spaceships around the Earth and up to the moon and to Mars, yet women are still having to undergo highly invasive and damaging laparoscopic procedures to just get a diagnosis, and something needs to be done on that front. There should be a blood test or something that women could get done to at least give them the name that they seek for their pain. There's far too many women out there right now writhing around in pain every month with no understanding, thinking that this is normal because pain with a period is normal. It is not normal to have pain with a period. Your period should be a 2 to 3 day non-event with a thin panty liner and no cramping, no breast tenderness, no cysts, no nothing. That is what a normal period should look like. Now, unfortunately, so many women have either put up and shut up or feel ashamed to mention it to their friends or to their family, but end up being completely incapacitated or knocked out by the pain of endometriosis. So again, just more of a real rally call today, because I keep hearing all these beautiful women being, I would say, mistreated by other women who perhaps should be a little bit more curious and compassionate. If tests are coming back or operations or procedures are happening and they can't see evidence of it, then surely it's within their remit and their duty to do a further investigation and assist the woman in trying to find out what's wrong. And it was very moving to me to have this woman share her upset. She ended up crying, saying she tried everything, she was trying everything, and to see and hear the upset and distress that this woman and her daughter have gone through, which is not like it, that is not, they don't need to go through that. If the medical field would just either wake up or shake up and come into the modern times, and even the people who are in that field had a little bit more curiosity as to, just because something or someone doesn't fit into the square peg into the square hole, but actually, what if there's the round peg doesn't go into the square hole? They should be looking for more round holes, so to speak. So again, wherever you are in your journey, there are going to be people that are going to tell you, and I know I had this, that it was all in my head and I was making it all up. Well, I want you to get up. I want you to get angry and write down, how dare they treat you like that? How dare they make you doubt your sanity? You know your body better than anyone. Now, what I did say to this another lady who'd inquired about whether or not she should get an MRI scan done, I was saying, you can get an MRI scan done. And if they can find something on the MRI, fantastic. But sometimes endometrial deposits are so tiny, but they might be scattered all over the intestinal tract or the abdominal wall, or they can be in all sorts of places. And at the end of the day, a doctor's kind of code of conduct is to look at the whole person, not just look at a test that comes back or an operation where they don't have the expertise or they don't have the eye in which to find these things, or it's not visible on their MRI. If this lady has an MRI and they can't find it, that doesn't mean to say that it's not there. That's the other thing, because again, that kind of interaction can really make a woman who's suffering every single month, if not half the month, feel very down and despondent and very depressed. So do make sure that if you are suffering in any way, shape, or form and you're not getting the validation that you seek, do your own analysis. Everything's in my book in which you can get you started and keep you going. Do write down what's happening so every morning as you wake up, write down your thoughts and feelings. Maybe at the back of your journal, write down your signs, your symptoms, everything. I have created another morning wisdom journal, so that is there if you need it. It's kind of give you prompters and guidelines. I make nothing on these things, by the way. The amount of love and time and effort has gone into creating these things to make it easier for you to be more empowered. They're there. So use these resources if it's going to help you get the reassurance and the confidence that you need to trust your body. But write down what your signs and symptoms are every single day, even throughout the day if you need to. Keep it in a documented form. Write down your thoughts, your feelings, your upsets, your disappointments, and things like that. If you are feeling down and depressed, it's no wonder you're feeling down and depressed if you're not getting the support that you need. And this is where as you know, if you've been listening to me for a while, I encourage you to become empowered, to empower yourself. And the best way to empower yourself is through the right information, by increasing your awareness, getting the right information, education, keeping inspired, and that ultimately leads to empowerment, what I call the AIEIE. At the end of the day, we are awash with information online now. The problem now is not getting enough information. The problem now is sifting through the trillions and trillions of pieces of information that are out there. A lot of it is not relevant to women with endometriosis. And then there's some information out there from this whole kind of endometriosis business that's being created that is highly misleading and kind of irresponsible as well. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I aim to have every woman empowered so that she has the confidence to tune into her body, able to decipher from the information her body's giving her, what her body needs and wants, and what is causing inflammation and irritation. And you have the power to get that information, but start slowly, start small, build up, be realistic with time frames. So if you've hit a wall and you're getting people that are just telling you it's all in your head and you're imagining it, just start super small. Start with journaling is the key thing. Start just paying attention. Keep a food monitor sheet. Maybe look at wheat flour, swapping that out. Wheat flour is the nastiest, most inflammatory thing that you can imagine for your intestines. Notice what's in your food that's coming into your body. We know things like soy and dairy and sugar can be really inflammatory too, but wheat is the biggest thing that I would encourage any and every woman to swap that out with wheat-free or gluten-free products. Again, keep a note of what's on the ingredients of these things, because there's all sorts of things like flaxseed and soy and nasties. You know, again, I've created 2 cookbooks for you, which was like giving birth to 2 babies. The amount of time, effort, and energy goes into them. Again, go and get these things. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. They're there if you want them to make life as easy for you as possible. But wherever you are in your journey, it's really important to remember you can do this. If I can do this, if I can come back single-handedly, all on my own, and you don't have to do it all on your own. All the information that you need is in my books. Then please do not allow yourself to be worn down into doubting who you are at your core, questioning your sanity by somebody who might be a pretty unpleasant person or pretty toxic. There's a lot of toxic people out there. There's a lot of great people too. So start off with something that just gives you confidence. Make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that really are cheerleading you on and believing in you. And just never, ever, ever let anyone make you doubt your own sanity. And sadly, there are some people in positions of power that enjoy doing that. And it really makes me quite cross. So that's why I wanted to jump on here today to say, wherever you are, you can do this. Now, we have some online programs. It's all primarily surrounding kind of the emotional journey, because if you have experienced mistreatment and upset, it can make you pretty sad and upset and down and depressed. And you have every right to have those feelings if that's how you've been treated. But now it's about turning that on its head and helping you be empowered back to yourself so you can truly trust your instincts and your intuition and put this condition in remission. If I can do it, and I know there's, so over 100 women I've helped personally, and then there's tens of thousands through my book, then I know that you can too. So yes, that is me for today. Next week, we have another couple of success stories coming out as well. And I'm excited to share them. We get emails pretty much like every day, if not every second day, from women who are getting results. Remember just to be very kind and realistic about managing expectations. This is not a quick fix. I never say it is. It takes time for the changes to be seen and felt. And give yourself at least 9 to 12 months minimum. And if you've got cysts, they can be pesky little things. And that's normally indicative to me that there's some deeper emotional work just needs to be gently looked at, and your journaling can help you start that work. But if you're following me, if you're listening to this and you're where you're here, then it's where you're meant to be. And I hope to meet you at some point on the journey. But until then, to your health. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Heal Endometriosis Naturally with Wendy K Laidlaw. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and rate us. If you're interested in learning more, you can download your top 5 jumpstart tips at healendometriosisnaturally.com and jump on the VIP email list. Remember to keep you number 1. The world needs a healthy you.